Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Carly and this is my channel, Carly's Crafts and Interests. Today we're doing an interest of mine, which is mystery books, and I do book reviews of the authors that I love reading. I recently have started reading Anne Perry. Now Anne Perry, it has a bit of a different background than most of my authors that I have reviewed. And I'll tell you how. First of all, her name, like a couple of them, isn't really Anne Perry, but it is a pen name that she took up and she adopted it, and you'll find out why. She was born, actually, Juliet Marion Hulme, and she was born in 1938, and she died last year. She was born in London, England. She died in California, in Los Angeles. She is most known for her Thomas and Charles Pitt mystery books, and also William Monk ones that she's done. She also has a couple of other, series also. Now, what makes her different is that it was found that she had, and her friend at the time, had committed a murder. Yeah. And this was discovered in 1994. It was in what happened in New Zealand. She was a teenager living in Christchurch, New Zealand. And in 1954, at the age of 15, she and her 16-year-old friend, Paulette Parker, murdered Paulette's mother, who is Honora Reaper. Because they were teenagers, they got off pretty lightly for murder. They served a 5-year sentence each, and afterwards, they didn't really meet up with each other after that. I don't know the circumstances of why they did that. I believe somebody else has done a whole book about, the circumstances revolving that murder. But that's pretty interesting, because I don't come across too many of my mystery novelists who actually committed a murder too. Most of them just write about it. Now, after she had been released from prison, she returned to England and she became a flight attendant. And she later settled in the Scottish village of Portmaccormack. I probably said that wrong. Forgive me, I'm not Scottish. I have Scottish ancestry, but I don't know how to say that correctly. And she lived with her mother there, and her father had also a scientific career and was working on the British hydrogen bomb program. You've seen the movie Oppenheimer? Like that. Think of that. Now this time, she changed her name to now what we know on the cover as Anne Perry. That time forth. And she began writing books. And one of the first ones that she did was this one. It is the first one, the first William Monk, called The Face of a Stranger. She has written a prolific amount of books, and she wrote and she wrote, for many years. In 2000, she discussed the whole murder conviction that she is associated with and what happened. In 2009, she received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Agatha Awards. So despite her kind of checkered past, at least as a teenager, she made a career out of writing, murder mysteries. She did something with her life. She didn't stay doing crime, which is a relief. And she has two, as I say, she has two major lines of books. We have the William Monk here, and we got the Charlotte and Thomas Pitt. Now here are this. I don't have nearly all of her books. She's written so many, but I do have a fair amount. First one is here. I've been reading this one. This one involves William Monk. He's a police officer, and he had was at an altercation, I guess, with hunting down somebody, and he had gotten hit and hurt. In this novel, he wakes up in this hospital, and this is in the late 1800s, and he doesn't remember who he is at all. He doesn't know he's William Pitt. He doesn't know his name. He doesn't know what he does. He doesn't know his family. He doesn't know where he lives. He doesn't know anything. And for a good while in this novel, he's trying to recover who he is. He goes to visit his sister and tries to remember things about her because he can't remember her. He can just kind of go through the motions, and even where he's been living in London, the people who he's been staying with, his landlady, it's a bit of a challenge for him. I'm still reading this one. As I say, she's a new novelist to me. Now we also have Midnight at the Marble Arch. This is a Charlotte and Thomas Pitt one. I've been to the Marble Arch. I know exactly where it is. Now these novels they're kind of historical. They're set back in the 1900s, early 1900s. The places are real. The time period, the way people lived, but the people in it, the characters, so far, no, they're not real. They are made up by Anne Perry. So it's kind of a historical mystery, but kind of not. Not everything is as it was. You can't look in history and say, oh yeah, Now here's another one of Charlotte and Thomas Pitt, Dorchester Terrace. And this one is also one of theirs, The Angel Court Affair. As you can see, I got a lot of Anne Perry to read. Ashworth Hall. This is a real hall. This is the first Anne Perry that I have ever owned. This is a Charlotte and Thomas Pitt novel. And then we have a William Monk, Sins of the Wolf. This is another one, An Acceptable Loss. Lastly, it's called The Sheen of the Silk. And I can't determine. I would have to see who is the main person. I think this one is separate all by itself. I'm pretty sure. Now, I have a fantastic place you can go to get books like this. It's called thriftbooks.com. They have loads of mystery books and all other kinds of books too, not just mystery. But this is where I get the majority of mine from. And great prices, great service. They come, perfectly well, That's why they got these little things on the side here. I'm learning about, Anne Perry's work. I haven't read a lot of it, but from what I've read, I do like. It's an interesting take. It's historical. It's not set in modern time, not set in modern times. And so that's interesting to me. And if this kind of mystery is interesting to you, check out Anne Perry. She's an interesting writer, She got over her I don't know the circumstances of what happened in her past, but she got over that, and she became quite a prolific writer. And that's our review of Miss Anne Perry here, or Juliet Hume, if you would, prefer. If you have subscribed to my channel, I'm so glad you're with me. And this is one of the things I like to do. And if you haven't, please subscribe and like the channel. They both don't cost you anything, but it's just your support is great to have. And without further ado, I'll see you in the next video. I hope you will be with me. And take care. Ta-ta for now.